Lord of Omens, give me sight beyond sight. Beyond sight. Beyond sight.
What's up, peoples? Another episode of Sight Beyond Sight. Today we got a couple things for you. We're here with the co-host Andrew over here.
You almost forgot his name.
No, I was just.
Come on, fucking name.
I got to get used to it. Apparently. We got Marissa here, who's a recurring guest. You're not gonna say hi?
Hi.
And then that's what I was actually waiting for. People to say hi.
A lot of hostility down there. The backstage drama is real. Like I could feel the energy. I'm like, God damn! I was like, do they want to fucking open the show?
Andrew's been ignoring us all night, so we're a little bit hostile. That's okay.
We're gonna bring you a few things today. We're gonna talk about the new James Wan movie that came out today. Was what was it called? I keep saying I want to say Maleficent, but it's Malignant, and it has to do with we'll get into that. We're gonna talk about Don't Breathe 2, and then we'll talk about What If Episode 5, I think it was, and there you go. So we'll break it down.
Yeah, we got a few trailers.
Maybe a few trailers. We'll see.
Yeah. If anything, we'll spin off and do like a short 20 minutes.
Yeah, that'll be at the end of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into it. Marissa, you could give the quick summary of Malignant.
As the title suggests, it's about a tumor.
See, I did not know whatever the fuck that word. Malignant. It's gonna take me mad long to pronounce that fucking word.
It almost sounds like he was trying to say enigma.
No, malignant.
Malignant.
Wow. I'm trying
to
Malignant.
Not my ligament.
Malignant.
But whatever it's called, yes, I did not know it connected to fucking cancer or tumor shit.
Yes, malignant.
I'm happy it didn't, because I would have been even less into the energy I had towards the movie.
Yes. So essentially, it's basically about a woman. It's kind of hard to explain because they kind of reveal things throughout the movie, but essentially there is a hospital that they were doing studies on children and about certain ailments that they have. And it's supposed to be this prestigious doctor. And at first you think it's like some supernatural creature or something, or some monster, but it's actually a tumor, which is malignant. And it's attached to a woman who thinks she was adopted by this family, and everything was, and she had a imaginary friend, because we like to watch films with imaginary friends.
Apparently.
It seems to be the thing. So but this imaginary friend, or the tumor, gets reactivated when her abusive husband smashes her head violently against the wall, opening her skull and therefore revealing the tumor back up, and it starts a killing rampage. And it starts to kill all the people who were associated with the experiments and everything like that. And it's just basically becomes, it starts off, you feel like it's like a supernatural film, but then it really just becomes a
almost
more
slasher?
like a slasher,
almost a slasher. Yeah.
And it's very interesting because what winds up happening, and spoiler, but it's I would say it was a decent movie. It wasn't the greatest movie, but it also wasn't terrible. There was a lot of really cool action scenes, and some action scenes where they
did too much.
The
CGI
was it was just, I was so disappointed. Like, there were certain scenes where I'm like, yes, this is really cool, and they got an actor to do a lot of like these backward type scenes, and like it looks almost
contortionist shit.
Right. And like disjointed and everything. And that makes things look creepy. But then there are other scenes where they use it in CGI, and it's like too close, too bright.
It looks like a video game.
It looks like a video game. And we all know if you're going to use CGI in any type of movie, that things are moving fast.
But I feel like that's the new CGI. Like
but
as
it
we've
needs
done
to be
seen a
dark
lot,
and far.
but
That's
a
the
lot of
only
the
way it looks
CGI we
good.
see now is becoming too much. Where it's like, if we had an 8K television, that's kind of what
What's
it's
an AK television?
8K is
8K
Oh,
like
over.
eight,
not
like
8K like a
like
gun.
an AK-47. I'm sorry, I'm a little ghetto.
like, all right, so if you have that higher resolution television,
You
like,
got a gun TV, nigga. What the fuck?
it will make a different view, like because that's what
Right.
it was like for that scene, like y'all talking about more
You
or
think
less.
if we had a better quality
It would have.
television,
It probably would have
better?
looked a little bit more.
You
Or
just
if we
better
saw
'cause
it
it
in the
would have
movie
been
theater,
more because like what the from what I've seen from what the 8K visual is so far,
right?
because I watch it for most of these sports, it's just a higher resolution, like so it makes it look more realer.
yeah,
Like
but
if you're in it type of shit.
sports are real.
Yeah.
We're
No,
talking
but I
about,
get what you're
and
saying.
you're
No,
just
I
dissing
know.
my TV.
No, but I'm
Like that was a
saying,
low key diss. Like my TV's 4K.
'cause, like,
They don't.
if
That
we
movie
watch that
wasn't
visual
8K.
in a better like
Quality.
aspect of a quality,
So do you think if we
because it
would've-
looked cheesy, it looked
Yeah.
cheesy when it shouldn't not have.
But do you think that
So-
if
Yeah,
we
but that was the
watched it in
movie, wasn't my
theater,
TV.
would it
No, it
have
would have
looked
still
diff-
looked cheesy because
It's
it's not
still- okay.
8K. Yeah, it's not.
So
There's not a lot of 8K shit out there right now.
So then,
Right.
your thing is irrelevant.
No, I'm just saying.
Don't diss my
I'm
TV,
not
man.
dissing your TV.
It
I'm
has
just
some
saying, I'm
problems.
just pointing it out. Like,
Okay,
hey, my
so-
nigga, my Fire Stick just updated to the 4K
And I
shit.
hate
Nigga.
it. And I hate it.
I was
I
like, what
hate
the
it.
hell just happened? I'm like at 3 a.m. Like, why is this like this? This is some bullshit.
I hate when they update shit just for the sake of
Yeah.
updating shit and they move stuff around. I'm like, it was fine the way it was
Yeah.
before. Just make it faster.
Yeah,
If they could just make technology faster
it'll be
and
better.
just leave the format the way it was, I don't give a shit. Just make the technology
Yeah.
faster. Anyway.
All right, so that's was that
Yeah.
basically the gist of it?
Yeah,
or-
I mean listen, it's a slasher film. It's about a tumor that's in the back of this chick's head.
Mm.
That's about it.
That's
But
pretty much
I
the gist of
mean,
it.
to watch it, I would watch it not for the acting because the acting was shite.
yeah.
But the actual action was pretty cool, and I liked some of
yeah.
the kill scenes.
All
She
right,
loved
yeah.
breaking people's bones. That was like one
Yeah,
of the
the
things. There was
arms
a lot
was
of
like-
compound fractures, a shit ton of compound fractures.
And just to like boast up this movie just a little bit, it's like a supernatural monster slasher.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
It was
very
like
weird like
it's
that.
like
Yeah,
yeah.
a triple thing. But we could go into the ratings, like so.
Yeah, we could do rate. You want to go? Yeah,
I
we go
would
middle.
say.
Oh, he wants me to do it, but go ahead. I'll let you
No,
go.
no,
No,
but
no,
then,
do what
Marissa,
you.
go.
Okay.
please.
Okay, so for me, I think on a creepy factor, it wasn't very creepy, but interesting and like I guess gore factor, slasher factor.
yeah.
I would probably give it an 8.
Okay.
I would give it an 8.
I'll go next because
You're right ahead.
he wants me because he thinks I'm like doing
You're
some
cheater. Nah, that,
cheater shit.
Okay,
I
okay.
know
Oh,
the
I
strategies.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I know
I
the
understand what you're saying.
strategies.
Because he's very
Uh,
negative, and I got it.
I'll give it a 6. I think that the acting was bad. The like that big fight scene you could have done really well
Yeah.
was really bad. I thought the concept, well, the storyline was bad. I just feel like you had a concept. You had the good contortionist backwards slasher monster. I like when they showed her as a little kid and it was like a little thing, like a little.
Yeah.
But I was just like, you did a lot of the aspects that were kind of cool. Like
It was
you
a
bring
little,
in,
"Queen, start the reactor."
yeah, open your
Definitely,
mind.
definitely.
But certain aspects are very original and cool. A lot of aspects weren't, like again, like the acting, the storyline, and all that. But some of the action scenes were pretty badass. Like we were talking about, like when you do what they could have done with that main action scene,
Mhm.
is they could have done it with a real person, a real contortionist, and slowed it down. But like filming it slowed it down, but then make it fast paced when
No,
you're like
no.
watching it.
No, you're saying it like have it normal and then speed it up so it looks cooler when.
Well,
You
I was saying
actually
you
see
would
it.
film it slow. Like if somebody's gonna contortion, you gotta like make sure. I don't
There
know.
are
I'm not a
contortionists, they can-
filmer. I don't know. I'm
You're
not a
filmer,
director.
damn it.
I'm just whatever. That's just my opinion on it.
Yes.
But that's why I give it a 6. Like it wasn't great,
Those
but
are
it
the
was
things that hurt you.
Yeah.
yeah.
That was really what got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do
Go
you
ahead,
think?
go ahead. What do you
What's
rate it?
your, What's your rating?
I give it a 3.
Oh, that was, and
Hot
that's
take.
lower than
Whoa.
almost anything we've
Because I'm
seen.
disappointed in James
Yes.
Wong or
Yeah.
Wu, whatever his name is.
James,
Like,
wow.
my guy, I
Wow,
watched 4 of your
racist.
movies, and like
Racist.
I could go back and watch those horror movies and
Yeah.
enjoyment.
Yes.
That's a
like,
fact.
honestly.
Yes.
So I was expecting that. 2, I did think that honestly, if you're gonna start doing like the dollhouse camera angle, like you said,
Yeah,
Yes.
you
yeah,
should have kept that as a consistent.
yep.
That
Yes.
would have kept it working.
Because that was pretty cool. I like that.
That would have helped. Like, because I was looking for creepy. Like, I wanted to be creeped out right now when I
Yeah.
watched this movie.
And we were not.
So I'm mad at that aspect because I could have just watched a movie that we just watched after it and been satisfied because
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Oh, action, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to be scared today. I wanted to go in my car and be fucking scared. Now I'm not.
I don't
I'm more
think I'm
disappointed.
coming more and more to the realization that I don't think that's ever going to happen again.
No, but it could happen. Like,
It could.
happens.
We need a new director
Yeah.
with fresh ideas, and maybe one
But
day me and
he
Nikki will
makes-
make a movie that will freak people the fuck out.
But he makes a fantastic point because when I looked him up on IMDb, he made the 2
Most scary.
Insidiouses, the 2 Conjurings. He did make Aquaman and Fast and Furious 7.
Mhm.
Well, he made a few movies that were
Yeah.
He did the movies that he
Fuck.
had to do to get the
But
extra money and let the
he's-
studio support him to do this movie.
yeah. He started
Honestly.
the 2 best recent horror franchises ever.
Yeah.
And he started Saw. He
Mhm.
did Saw. So it was just
Right.
like,
The first Saws, right?
yeah. And it was just kind of like you
So-
started you know that he has better quality stuff.
When you put yourself at that level, and I'll use the
Right.
music term, when you drop and you have a sophomore album that's significant to your freshman album,
Yeah.
and then you go into your junior shit, then your senior year, nigga, you better show out.
Yeah.
And you did not show out right now. You
No,
just
that's
you went
true.
backwards,
That's true.
in my opinion. Like the action scenes, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, but cool. But it was like V for Vendetta with superpowers,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I checked out of it. Like, honestly, I was more into it when I didn't know what the monster looked like or the aspect of the monster,
Okay.
because
Mm.
it made me feel like, all right, it could have a supernatural, some type of aspect to it. Once
Yeah.
I knew it was like,
And
oh,
that's what annoyed
it's a
me
physical
too.
being, then it was
Yeah.
like, all right,
That's
Nah.
that's
See,
what annoyed me too. Was
Mhm.
that I thought in the beginning it felt more supernatural,
Mhm.
which I dig more because with supernatural you can't control it. Like there's no like when it became a physical being, it changes the aspect to me
yeah.
a lot because to me when it's a physical being, it can die.
Mhm.
Now, if it's a supernatural thing, it's not just you can't stab it to death. You can't bludgeon it to death. Like there's so much more that goes into it to get rid
And
of
it
it.
makes more sense to take over white noise, aka radio frequencies,
Right.
to talk to.
Right.
Well, the reason why I disagree with that is because if you look at things besides Saw, everything else he's done has been supernatural. So if
Yeah,
he's gonna
yeah,
change,
no, creepy.
yeah.
he was
To my point,
yeah,
it's been creepy.
yes, I agree with that because those movies I like, the franchises I like, but the fact, and I think this is where I give it a little bit more props, is that he came up with something original,
Yeah.
and regardless of the storyline and all that bullshit, I kind of like the fact that it was more. What I think that he should have done and what would be better is that he should have kept the supernatural aspect of it a little bit longer, so you're still guessing,
Yeah,
Oh,
nah,
yeah,
it
and
should've
then-
definitely kept it longer, yeah.
and then
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it the physical where it's actually her and she's contorting
That-
backwards.
They
like,
should.
they-
They
that
should
would've
have
been better.
revealed
It's the way
that
they
in the
cut it.
jail scene.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like they should
That
have
would've been a better
revealed that
scene.
in the jail
Yes, it
scene,
would've been.
Yeah.
and it would have
Mhm.
totally blown everybody's mind.
Yes,
If it was,
that
if
would have
it
been
was-
a big pop.
If it
It's
was
a-
more of like
yeah.
supernatural, supernatural, supernatural,
And then you get to
supernatural,
that
and then
part,
and
yeah.
then it gets to the jail scene, and you're like, this is weird.
But that's
How are
what
they
will
gonna?
make
And then all of a
the trick.
sudden,
Yes.
then all of a sudden, it's the big reveal of like
Yes.
it's the tumor, and,
And
you're
at-
just like, oh my god, that's so
Exactly.
fucking cool.
And at that point, that's when you could have.
You
when-
appreciate this the shitty CGI and the action scenes that are a little over the
Yes,
top.
yes,
Yeah.
Because you'll get so blinded by oh shit
Yeah.
that you not thinking about it as you watch this bitch do 18 flips
Yeah.
and kill people.
yes.
Like like it
Yeah.
would be what it is. Like
No,
Exactly.
I totally agree with that. Like,
Although I did appreciate in the jail scene, the white trash bitch just like threw bitches at her. So
Yeah, that
she
was
could-
funny. I ain't gonna lie, that
just
was
love
funny.
that part.
no, that's a good point because if he, like I said, I feel like the concept was there
Mhm.
and almost the visual, because at first I was just kind of like the way the camera is going, I was just
And
like, yo,
that's the
this
other thing,
doesn't seem
too.
like James Wan.
Yeah.
But then once they showed the first super, like quote unquote supernatural thing,
Yeah.
and then they started doing like the the noise and the light, and I was
Yeah.
like, it reminds me of
then
Insidious and
I felt
Conjuring.
like he was trying too many things in this movie too visually. I felt like there was so many different like techniques and camera angles. Because, like, for example, when she's in the living room and they're doing like that, what do you call it? The hypnosis thing. They did this weird camera angle where it zooms around.
Yeah,
They
and then
did
that's
it
the
zooms
fuck
back.
play
But it
towards
was
going
like-
back to Insidious where he did
Right,
the
but
one
he
shot
did it
instead of doing the whole
once,
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was like for 5 seconds. And you know what I'm saying? And like he never utilized it again.
Yeah.
The dollhouse scene, he did it one time.
Nah, yeah.
Never utilized it again.
Yeah.
And
So
now
there
what
was
it-
like certain weird little camera techniques or visual techniques that he used, and it was like a hodgepodge. And it was like way too much shit happening, and I was just like, ugh.
I'm changing my score to 5.
But
No.
this is like why we should do scores after we argue.
No,
Not
no,
before.
it's good to do
Arguing is
before.
disgusting.
Because the
Disgusting.
score basically brings in the conversation more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're all gonna have different, like,
Yeah.
the odds of us all agreeing is gonna be Spider-Man probably, and I still figure
It's fucking
he's
fantastic.
still probably gonna be like a 9, and I'm like, nigga, it's like a 12, my nigga. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
But it's
No,
just
I
what
understand.
it is. Yeah.
But yeah. So
Yeah.
but overall, it could be a good watch just for the experience of it.
It's free,
but
so it's a better watch than paying for it.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
if you got a HBO Max, you're
You're good.
Gucci.
That
Just
$114 every month. Hey, you got me shitty movies every fucking month. Thank
Yeah.
you, because that ass, like, since King Kong Godzilla, maybe
King
little
Kong
things.
Godzilla was trash too. So
It wasn't trash, but it's more watchable than any other fucking HBO Max movie they dropped.
But didn't we discuss the other one with the guy who
but we
played?
get Adventure Time, so that makes up for it.
You got Adventure. I don't get Adventure Time. I don't waste my time with whatever the fuck Adventure Time is. I don't know what that
You
It's
is.
have
just like
no
a Rick
idea.
and Morty, just more, just
No, it
slightly
just
more
looks
kid
even
version.
more stupid. Like, it looks like a straight acid trip. I'm still trying to figure out.
It
why
is
that
an
motherfucker
acid
has
trip,
no
but so
ears.
is Rick and Morty.
No,
Why,
Rick
what?
and Morty's not fully like acid trip. Rick and Morty has a lot more smart
In
jokes.
depth. Yeah.
But that's because I
It's
feel like it's
That
more
show
than
is
and
for
that
four
kids.
jokes.
season-
We just got to be honest about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
said
of course,
that.
of
So it's just
course.
like, yes,
Yeah.
it's like a Rick and Morty for kids.
Yeah, and Rick
Yeah,
and Morty
I
is like,
guess.
to me, this is like his best season so far.
See, I actually asked somebody about that, but he didn't watch the season, so I was like,
Yeah.
because I heard random, like, because I
Have you
go
watched
through.
any of them?
I watched all of them.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
thing is that
I
I'll
feel
say
like it's ending.
I liked
I
it,
feel like
but that's the part of the issue that's happening.
I
That people
feel like
the
it's
climax of the
coming
seasons.
to
Yeah.
an end, and I'm not mad about it because I think things should end.
It doesn't need to go fucking 20 years. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be Simpsons. It doesn't need to
No,
be
no,
Family
no,
Guy.
no.
It doesn't
I
need to
think
be that.
I
No.
think if it ends, I'm totally satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
I think their jokes are very on point. I
Yeah.
think their consistency is on point, even with time travel and all this weird fucking multiple dimensions bullshit.
But
and
that's
they
what
keep
keeps
all
it fresh
together.
in its own weird way. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that to me, it's like, okay, if this is the last season, I'm fine.
Just go out with a bang.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, like, well,
I want one
if the season's
epic.
going to end,
Bring Pickle Rick back.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, you gotta have the whole Citadel like kill each other. Like, you had the Morty
Well, most of the
Citadel
Citadel
against
has
the Rick
died.
Citadel. Yeah, like, and like you gotta have like a climax ending. Like, give me a
Yeah.
2 hour and a half.
I want
thing and
the
I'll be lit.
president to come back.
Yeah,
They need to do an epic, like where the president is now owing Rick a favor,
See?
and he's like calling in, the
Fuck, I'm
president.
trying to remember who
the
does the voice for the
presidential-
president again.
The guy from he has a gap tooth. What is his name?
I don't know. I just
Oh
know
my
he's black and I can't
God.
remember.
I can't remember.
But
his
his voice is
name.
epic. But like,
Yes, he has
that's
that
one of the
very deep
things-
voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, but no, that's I don't know how we got into this argument conversation.
Because
But
we always do
because
this.
HBO Max,
Yes.
HBO Max One is one of honestly the top 3 best apps right now. that
Oh,
I
yeah.
have.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
Yeah.
well, unless you're
Especially because I don't pay for it.
a Disney fan, like to me, I would say the top. Well,
Well, the Disney Plus
But
app
Disney
only
doesn't have
has.
it hasn't been updating
No,
as much as it
no.
could.
No.
I know
Yeah.
it's only for me as a fan. That's why I said like as
Yeah.
as a Marvel fan, Disney Plus is the shit for me. But I would agree,
Yeah.
like it's HBO Max, Netflix, and
It's
And
literally
Cineplex.
third could be anything. 'cause
Yeah,
it depends.
Peacock or
Yeah, if
Hulu.
you're a Hulu fan or you like Peacock or
Yeah.
you like
Yeah.
whatever
No,
random other app
my
you
new
use.
shit
Yeah.
is watching Ted Lasso. Like that's
What the fuck is a Ted Lasso?
Ted Lasso is hilarious. It's
He sound like a
you-
nigga that runs around just doing this all day.
I don't know. I don't think you would like it. I honestly don't think you would like it. It's basically about a football coach. He's a college football coach that goes over to London to teach soccer.
So it's supposed to be the turn play of words.
Yeah.
Ah.
And he's a
And he wrote
he-
other
Mr. Baseball
people
all
in.
over again.
but he's like what they call toxically optimistic. So he's like very fucking
Everything is
happy.
Well,
great.
it makes sense for a 2021 show
Yeah.
to be positive instead of being an alcoholic
Yeah.
cigarette smoker
You-
that
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
to
yeah.
Japan and is like, oh, you chinks don't know nothing.
You
know,
really
like,
went 20 years back. I mean,
I'm
you
thinking
was
of
at
Tom Selleck
2000.
with the baseball shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
But it's a funny.
he's
it's-
like
it's
2001. I
funny.
mean, 21. Damn, I wish I was young again. I was still in school.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's a funny show, but not everybody I think would appreciate it. But it's funny. It's very funny.
I'll have to look it up. I literally just started watching it as we going through our tangent randomly. I just watched a new episode of the Wu-Tang show. I don't know if y'all ever watched that
No,
show.
I watched the
feel like
beginning,
I
but
watched
it's
the
like
documentary. I'm good.
But the documentary is more
Well,
accurate.
it's-
The show,
it's-
it's a mixture of like
it's like
fact
based
and
on it. Yeah,
and like
it's
fiction.
It's like
But it's
like a.
fun.
But I'm not
It's-
interested in that.
But
If
it's,
I already
it's a
know
fun
the story,
watch.
I
It's a fun
can't.
watch.
I
Like
just-
I'm not gonna lie,
No,
it's actually a lot
it's-
better than you realize.
The thing is, when I first got into it, I thought it was like a document series.
Yeah.
And then it was like, no, like this isn't fucking happen. Like this person have beef. Like, and then it was just like,
No, see that
no,
would just piss me
it's
off.
but no, it's
Well,
It
there
would
is
just-
it's
it
like
would
a
just
drama.
annoy
It's
me.
it's like a drama. It's just
but
like
the thing is, they didn't really have beef. The thing it was truly they just came from two different hoods,
yeah,
and they made it into more of what it was supposed to be.
yeah,
And
and
they still talk about the actual shootings, like Ghost getting shot, like everything that actually happened.
yeah,
to
it's
them,
a
but they
fact
flip
fiction thing.
certain
They
things,
take
yeah.
certain things from fact, and then they put
They
a little
embellish
bit
it.
drama. Yeah, but not even just embellish it. They put extra story in it
Yeah.
just to make it
a
interesting.
little bit
Like
more thicker, like to fill
Yeah.
up the.
I think
gaps.
you know what
Yeah.
it is. It's like if I
Like-
because when I grew up, like I've heard all the stories growing
Mm-hmm.
up and all that. It's not interesting to me.
No.
I think if I was more detached from it, like
See, but I get you. But at the same time, like I said, I watched the documentaries too. But at the same,
No,
I don't.
but
But those documentaries, I don't know shit about RZA's real like family shit. So I don't know if what's his name, Joaquin Burdick, whatever the fuck his name is, the guy who plays his stepdad or the guy who pulls up in the first season.
mhm.
I don't know if that actually really happened. And it's like I know RZA did get caught up in shit before Wu-Tang became Wu-Tang,
Yeah.
but like did
Yeah, I
that
don't
part
know.
actually happen? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I just
So
have
it's
to
like a
mentally.
weird
I just
part,
have to
yeah.
mentally detach from
yeah,
like
yeah, you do,
Mhm.
you do.
yeah. I just and that's hard for me to do. So that
You know what's really weird though? Like when I watch things that are trying to be, especially like old school hip hop shit,
yeah.
or even like I'll say like between this, the Get Down, and
Shot.
Dave show, the Lil Dicky.
Yeah.
My thing is like I want to see the music aspect because that's what I think pulled me into the Wu-Tang show. Was that you see how
How
again?
they created the
Yeah,
songs
it
and
was just
things
like you see
that.
RZA and
That's
his.
why I loved
thing.
watching
I
the like
get
the
it.
Mary
I was gonna
the
shut up,
Mary
but that
doc.
was-
No, but you
No.
know like the Mary documentary. Did
I
you
haven't
watch
watched
that?
it yet. I
Oh
haven't
my
watched
god.
it.
That to me was like coming to the realization of how she made
She
their
went through
my
a lot
life.
her whole shit is basically off of her drug addiction originally,
No.
and then most of her fucking abusive boyfriends and shit. Like get
well,
the whole
mostly
aspects.
JoJo from
Yeah, from Casey and JoJo. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, but Casey and JoJo. I mean, well, Casey.
Damn,
well,
he was a good singer.
basically
though.
at the end of the day,
When
they
he
were
was
doing-
apparently he
Yeah.
was a fucking
let's
super
just
dick.
put it to at the end of the, they were doing drugs together. They were no
Mhm.
different than Bobby and Whitney. So
Of
if they
course.
did not point that out in the documentary,
No, they did. They did.
So like,
no,
yeah,
no, they
like,
did. No, but what I'm
like,
saying is
honestly.
like she doesn't go into full detail of all the things that
Yeah.
she went through as a child.
Mhm.
It kind of touched on it. Like you can tell she hasn't fully kind of cut, like she can't fully talk about it in public yet. But it goes into how she made that album and each song, where that sentiment or that feeling
Mhm.
or that where that came from, and Yo, I think I cried so much in that because it was
is
like,
about doing drugs. It's not about a nigga.
No, not every song. Like, I'm saying,
yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, I'm agreeing with you.
No,
like,
but to actually hear from her how, like, when she's in the studio and how conversations became songs, and how it wasn't just her life, but also the life of like what Puffy was going through at the time with his girl, and what another producer was going through with their girl, and like how they combined it all together and made music out of it, and how you can literally be sitting in the studio crying your eyeballs out and pouring your heart out, singing like she does. And you're just like, that's why the music was so great, because they put their fucking heart and soul into it.
Got you. Trust
and
me.
Like, to me, I even love the album more watching that documentary.
Well, that's the shit about it. Like, I talk about music a lot, especially I fucking drown him with like music talk. And like, everything you're saying is basically like that's how I work off of music. Like we've been talking about the Drake Kanye shit, and like I don't want to go OD into it because I can. But I'll get to the point. Like yesterday, I think it was when we were talking about it, that I told her, I was like, one of the main reasons why I could be like, I fuck with the Kanye shit more. And mind you, it don't have curses on it, and it is kind of religiously. That shit hits my vibe and my mood of who I am right now, Andrew today. Andrew today isn't the Drake vibe, Andrew, where it's like, yo, we're going to strip club tonight. Yo, we do. Like, I don't, no fuckboy energy, no simp energy, no, none of these emotions that Drake was throwing out on his musical album connected with me. So when because people try to say I'm a hater, I'd be like, nah, I don't connect to it. Like, I connect to this positivity because this is the energy I've been trying to rock with for the last few months. Is like trying to be upbeat and be positive. So it works. Like, but certain shit like that with music works that way.
I can always tell when there's, to me, good music is not just, oh, that's a catchy beat.
No, but it's not that. But it's not that. The thing is that wait. No, but let me finish. No. Because I know your thought is going into misunderstanding what I'm saying.
No, I'm not.
Because what I'm trying to say is, I know you're not contradicting, but
I'm not.
Like, because I'm gonna agree with what you're basically saying. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, when I listen to like the Kanye shit, like, because I know I'm saying Kanye, and it's because he has these accolades. But if you listen to what he's saying on the shit, and yes, he has ghostwriters. Don't get me wrong. Those shit that he says is real shit. Like, he's saying actual real emotional shit. And especially if you actually do respect the aspect of him going through depression and being kind of bipolar. So you understand like what his verses don't have nothing to do about guns, drugs. It's about emotional aspect.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, I haven't listened to both albums yet. But what I'm saying is, the point that I was trying to make is any record, any song or whatever that you can, that there was heart and soul put into it.
All right.
No matter what you can say about, oh, who produced it and who wrote it and who did this, you can tell if that person felt that song.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's, to me, what makes a great song. If I could listen to the person singing it and like, wow, they really felt pain at this moment, or they really felt joy at this moment, or they really felt any strong feeling, that's what makes, to me, a great song.
Those are usually the best songs. Like, sometimes they come out to be like more or less for me, like, I'll say they're B-side songs. Like, I'm not a fan of like, I'm not the one to go to the radio cut. Like, once I get the album, I find a whole bunch of other songs on the album that I fuck with more than the radio play. Like, and then that radio song goes away from me. And it's like, because I find the songs, I was like, oh shit, this nigga's song about real shit about him. Or real shit that connects with what I feel right now.
Or like, that will make you cry, or make you happy, or make you want to punch somebody in the face.
The energy, that's all it is.
Like, and it might not be what you're feeling at the time, but it's just like holy shit, like I can feel what they're feeling.
No, but that's why I'm like, I've had multiple albums. Like, I would say, like, honestly, like, one album off the top, the easy, I could be like, Nas's Life is Good was literally the beginning of me evolving into getting to where I'm at right now. Because when you listen to that album and you hear him talk about all the shit he went through Khalees, throughout everything with Big and Pac, all that shit, you just like, for me, it was just a different aspect where it's like that he's saying, like, he's like, fuck it, yo, I'm old, I don't give a fuck about none of this no more. Like, and it's like, nah, that's how I feel. I don't give a shit about no street shit. Like, I don't care. Like, you know, but you can, like, you connect in a different way. You connect in different ways. Like, I'm not rich, but I know what you're saying. You know, like, But all right, so we're
All
gonna
right,
go
so
from here.
tangent.
No, all right, we went
now
from our
to
tangent.
now
Yes,
to the
yes.
second movie that we watched.